Hello, friends. This is Benny Hills, and this is not a normal video. This is just a recap of what I think might be my best vintage cube deck ever. So here it is. You can see it on the screen. Yeah, I wasn't recording this draft just because I don't always record. Sometimes it's just easier to not. And I was sort of building this deck, led on Llanowar Elves, and sort of was doing normal green deck, and then the pieces really just came together amazingly. So I just want to go over this deck and how it's amazing. I easy 6-0 every single round. I achieved an infinite combo on turn 3 to 5, and that was like, it wasn't like I had just a combo. I had like 15 lands in play and like 10 cards in hand, and I'd countered a spell and stuff. This deck is busted. So first of all, tons of one mana accelerants. You can see like I just had a ton. Two of them added any color, which was really nice because we were 3 colors, and all of them except for the goose died to Skullclamp. Also Ancestral and Brainstorm. So there's tons of card draw, and Brainstorm in particular is amazing with Oracle. There's multiple turns where I just set that up to be another Ancestral. And then we had Spellseeker to find either Ancestral or Time Walk or Mana Drain or Winds of Abandon, which is like, and or even Regrowth sometimes. So this was the best Spellseeker deck I've ever made by far. It just had access to the most efficient version of every single effect you could want. It had a board sweeper, take an extra turn, draw a bunch of cards, rebuy anything, counterspell, like not even just counterspell, like counterspell with tons of upside. And then we have Mana Drain Sphinx's Rev. So there's one game where I just Mana Drained a Fractured Identity, untap, and Rev for 10. And when you have Fast Bond in your deck, turns out Revving for 10 is really good. So anytime I drew Fast Bond, I just won, because with Skull Clamp, that's basically an infinite combo in this deck. Like, you can just clamp up your thing, draw 2 cards, you'll probably draw more lands than 1-drops, and you can just keep that rolling. So there was one game where I just went turn 1 land, Fast Bond, like land, Skull Clamp dude, like put the clamp on the dude, draw 2 cards, and on the end of the first turn I had like 6 lands in play or something, and like still a bunch of cards in hand. So there's that, and then Regrowth just rebuys whatever your most busted effect is. So one game they killed my Skull Clamp and I could get it back. Often I got Ancestral. Sometimes I would blow my Time Walk early and then use this to get it back for the combo. And every single game I won was with Soulfire Grandmaster. With so much card draw, I could just find this card super consistently. And with 5 mana, you could just start rebuying Ancestrals. And if you got up to 6 and had Time Walk, then that is just an infinite combo that makes you win. And the few cards that weren't part of this like low mana engine that just like is extremely hard to interact with were also super good. So Cultivate was really good with Avenger and also finding these lands, and also with Fast Bond you can just put them into play immediately. Knight of Autumn is just good interaction, and a 2/1 is really nice with Skull Clamp. So it comes in, it blows something up, or gains you life because you do pay a lot of life with the Fast Bond. And then you can clamp this up, draw 2 more cards, and then Edric just turns all these dudes into another way to draw cards. And there's multiple situations where I would have like an Edric with a Skull Clamp on it and attack, and it's like, okay, do I take this damage and draw a card, or trade creatures and let them draw 2 cards? And clearly that's not a good situation for your opponent. And then like these are sort of the perfect top end cards for this deck, because you really do want to be Skull Clamping all of your 1-drops. So it's rare that you just have like infinite mana other than from Mana Drain. So these are perfect because Biogenic Ooze, like, no, it just always wins. Like, no matter how big your opponent's board is, eventually it'll get there. So when you're taking infinite turns, every single turn they get another counter, and if you have extra mana, you can make more. And so that just like always eventually gets there. And then Avenger is amazing with Skull Clamp. There was one game where like they sort of traded down a lot of resources, but I did have a clamp in play, and they were trying to like kill all my dudes in response when I equipped the clamp. And then I got up to Avenger, played that, made 7 plants, and then that's just 14 cards of card draw, and you'll find Fast Bond, and then just win. So really, really fun deck. Also, post board, I could reconfigure the mana a bit and bring in land tax, and land tax with Fast Bond is also sweet. Like, obviously, it doesn't work a second time once you get it in play, like once you get 1 activation, but if you just go turn 1 land tax, turn 2 get 3 lands, play Fast Bond, play all 3 lands, then like you're pretty much good to go. So really, really, really sweet deck. I also had Scavenging Ooze in the board and Brain Freeze. So yeah, again, super easy 6-0. The mana was a bit dicey, but the mana dudes really helped out with that. And I don't normally do this. Like, I have lots of trophy decks that I haven't given talks about like this, but this was just so fun. Like, it was the most fun I've had doing a draft in a long time, and it was just so powerful, and it really just felt like I couldn't lose. I played against good decks that were like interacting with me in meaningful ways, countering spells, sweeping my board, like blowing up my lands, but it just didn't matter. I just had so many resources, and like because all my cards were so efficient, I could just really make the most of them. So yeah, I wouldn't say this is like a classic archetype because it only works because I just got tons of really powerful stuff like Mana Drain, Time Walk, and Ancestral is just broken. But this was a lot of fun. If you ever manage to get some of these combinations of cards, I definitely recommend you play it, and you'll have a good time like I did. Yeah, thank you for watching.